This is Diane Webb with Yesterday's News. I am down in Portland this weekend. We're doing a Headbangers Con, and we were going to catch Extinction AD tomorrow night in Seattle up at Tony V's Garage, and things bumped up, and we're down here instead. But hey, great news is we're at the Hawthorne Theater tonight. Extinction AD was just on. Raven is on now. We are with Rick Jimenez, and we are going to talk a little bit about Extinction AD, the touring, what you guys are doing musically. How's it going?
It's going awesome. As we said earlier, we've been pretty busy this year. We started the year, we did a tour at Darkest Hour and Whores, and that was awesome. We did a handful of just, headline shows and spot shows. We did all summer with Havok, and then we did some shows over that run with Havok and Suicidal Tendencies, Havok and Jungle Rot. So we went back and forth through the country and Canada a few times this year. We're saying, we're never as busy as we want to be, but we're getting busier. We put out our new record this past February, I think it was. So it's good to, get everywhere with it, play some new songs, just make people know what we're doing. We're constantly expanding on our sound and our lyrics and, our live show, and just trying to, stay busy and show everybody what we're all about.
Now you guys do this really killer thrash, and you're up there and you're so energetic, jumping everywhere, and you have this super high energy. And how did you guys find that? You're from Long Island. Was it just the natural that's around you in Long Island, and because the metal is really heavy over there? Was that something that sparked this kind of music for you?
I don't think so. I think that's just the nature of my personality. So I feel like any band I ever played in some way, shape, or form, it was high energy. I played drums for years, and I was never good at drums, but I'd get back there and pound away. And it was never, hey, look at me playing guitar or singing or anything. It was more, I'm playing music that I'm psyched on. And I guess to a certain extent, the cliche of oh, that's your outlet and your aggression. But I mean, I never hold my aggression in, no matter whether I'm on stage or not anyway. So it is that, but it's, we have fun. But at the same time, we write lyrics that we think are important, not just to us, but, maybe actually have a message. So getting that out there. But the music is high energy. We're high energy. And then especially if we're playing and, everyone's having fun and they have that energy, it's that back and forth transfer, When we practice, we're a bit more tame. But, that's because we're in our garage or our basement or whatever the fuck, and we're working shit out, and that's so we could just go balls out when we actually play. Standing around and just I'd rather be sloppy and be sloppy and decent as far as hitting the notes and all that shit, and be able to have a really good time. I want it to be different when people listen to our record and come see us. If you want to hear note for note, dead on, as best as we actually can do, that's what the record is. And then, the energy, hopefully we take it to a next level live by jumping around, screaming, getting other people to jump around and have a good time.
So you mentioned before we started talking that you guys only have a few more dates with Raven. You're done on the 16th. What do you guys have coming up after that?
Well, we have some stuff in the air, but it's so cliche to be we have some cool stuff coming up that we can't talk about yet. But we have a couple of things. We have a couple of different options on the table. And it's seeing what pans out and what we want to do, and puzzle piecing not even the end of this year, but more the beginning of next year and into, the spring. And then with the main goal of, within the next year, sometime in 2019, recording a new record. We have tons and tons of songs. We're always at least an album ahead when we record a record. So we recorded the last record in 2017, put it out in 2018, and by the time we recorded the record, we had another record written. So by now we have a record and a half or 2.5 records ready to go. So it's a matter, we want to give this record more touring time. We want to play with different types of bands and get, back and forth through a couple of places that we only hit once or twice over the past year or so. So it's just seeing what falls where, who we're going to be out with and where exactly we're going to be. Nothing is concrete enough to be this is exactly what we're doing, but we have some cool shit on our plate that is going to be fun for 2019. After we finish the stuff with Raven, we have we're doing every year. Our friends in Incendiary, they're a Long Island band, hardcore band. They do a Christmas show where they pick a different charity every year, and they play. You know, either we have two different venues, so a 200 cap and a 500 cap venue, and they choose one or the other, and sell the place out, and it all goes to charity. And we're doing that show this year, so that's going to be awesome. But after that, then it's just back on the road, you know, a time or 2 or 5, and hopefully before the end of the year, recording a new record.
Now, do you guys have any causes you stand behind? Because you're talking about doing charity, and we were talking a little bit earlier about just the state of the world and stuff.
Yeah.
Are there any causes that you as a band or personally you stand behind?
You know, sometimes it's hard to pick a specific cause, but what I like to write about lyrically isn't really so much, very often it is political, but to me, it sometimes is more social, where what's happening in the world, I will give my take on it and how it affects me. And if it's like, I think this could be better this way, I'll put that in the lyrics. If sometimes I just want to comment on a specific issue and talk about how it's fucked, I'll do that also, on this past record, especially, like I was saying, everyone is like on the political tip. Early on, especially when the whole like build a wall around the fucking country thing came up, I wrote a song, and I always thought the Trump administration, the campaign, was a ploy. I still think it's a media ploy. I don't think he ever wanted to be president. I don't think he had it in mind. It was just to increase his celebrity. But he's also a fucking crazy psychopathic egomaniac, and now he's going with it. And they're coming to get me.
Hang on a second. We had someone get injured at the show here.
So, the same thing. It's so cliche to be like, "Hey, we don't like Trump. We're a heavy band. Fuck that guy." But so instead of going that way and just writing a bashing Trump thing, it's just kind of the way his campaign has gone and what is brought out in, I almost want to say the human race, not just, Americans, is just fucking weird as hell. But then on the other hand, so that was essentially, that sums up the song, The Onslaught on Decimation Treaty. We have another song called Age of Revenge. And I did the other thing where, like, everything that Hillary Clinton stands for, what I think she actually stands for is very different than what she says she stands for. I would love to get behind what she says she stands for, but I don't fucking believe her. And people who blindly follow one side or the other, and I will take sides. It might not be always one of the two sides that's presented. To me, nothing's off limits. So it's like, I'm going to write what I think Trump is bringing out in Americans in the world, and it's fucked up. And now I'm going to write what I think Hillary Clinton's trying to manipulate the public into thinking she's about. They're the two sides of the same coin, and they're both fucking heads. That's my opinion. I guess the problem with the two-party rivalry is an ongoing theme with our band. To put there's
a human figure floating around in there right now.
A political system.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
There's a human finger floating around a rap show tonight.
A finger? They said finger.
Yeah, a finger. They're looking for a finger.
It's fucked up.
This has really become the weirdest interview.
Yeah, right? I feel like, I'm not against political structure, but two parties is crazy, especially if it has to be Republican and Democrat. What if the two best people that you want to choose from are both Republican? What if they're both Democrat? What if they don't want to align with some fucking label? Because who gives a shit? People voting upon, I only vote Democrat. Did you research an issue? Is that Democrat any different than the Republican? I mean, that's just one of many things that's kind of an ongoing thing. I talk a lot about race relations because I'm very aware of my mixed race where other people may or may not be. The relations sometimes, this is what we talked about earlier, sometimes feel like they're going backwards, and sometimes I'll talk about that and how that's frustrating. Sometimes I'll throw in how, hey, it might feel like we're going backwards. We're not. We're going to get through this. So I don't know, causes, issues, those are kind of some recurring themes. I talk a lot about, the American media. I think the American media is becoming very, very anti-American, or very un-American, very controlled, and I think that's super dangerous. I think sometimes if a super controlled media is more dangerous than an overbearing political leader.
You're very political, and I really like this, and I talk to a lot of artists about this because people are like, oh, they think metal and stuff, they just don't think about what's going on in the world, and there are so many people really, through their music, they talk about it, and they speak out about it. What do you think about how our government seems to have started cutting us apart as a people? Like, we're so divided. We've one side on Republican, one side Democrat, and then we've got race division. And it's terrifying to me. What do you think when you look around and you see people so divided and forgetting that we're humans and we're all the same people and that we should be coming together, but there's such vitriol, hatred towards people who just aren't the same?
It's so crazy because it's so uneducated, too. It's so often, in my opinion, through political figures and through the media, you always have to choose one or the other, black or white, and that's not race. I mean, it's just an issue. You're either for something and you're all for it and every subtlety that comes with it, or you're against it dead on in every subtlety. And that's where you get, like, when it's division that easily or that staunchly, it's so easy for the, somebody who's in charge, like a political figure or, the media, for them, they're all pushing for the same shit anyway, which has nothing to do with the people, but they have the people rallying for them, people voting against their own issues because it's like, well, I'm white. I don't want to be treated like a minority because I know how I treat a minority and I would never want to be treated like that. And this guy is running based on, I want to keep whites the majority. So I'm all for everything he's for based on that. Like, oh, well, he's, anti-women's health. Does that person believe that? Maybe, maybe not. But now, well, yes, of course I'm against that also because I'm for everything that guy says. And it goes on the other side also. Just talking about the extremes. It's hard to live in extreme. It should be hard to live in extremes, and people are very, very, very into that right now, and it's because it's so divided. I also think, for the most part, it's the older the person, the more easily they're, kind of baited into that. Younger people, they see through that shit. That's one of the great things about the internet, which, there's tons and tons of bad things about the internet. Internet's connected the entire planet. So it's like, even if it's just a little kid on YouTube, I have nieces and nephews. They go on YouTube and they want to watch something as simple as somebody playing with a toy. And they see somebody of, any of countless races in the world playing with that toy. They don't see like, oh, well, I have a brown hand and that person on screen has a white hand. Like, oh, that's weird. That white hand is weird. It's not that. And vice versa. There's... Hey, zip it!
We're trying to do an interview here.
The younger generation, and even by younger, I even mean like 30s. We're past that shit.
Yeah.
And that older generation, they're gonna fucking die off. That's all it is. They're gonna die off. Their children and grandchildren, they're gonna have mixed babies. You know what I mean? Like, people are very selfish usually. So once they have mixed babies, they're not gonna be like, oh, you know what? Like, even though my kid's half Mexican, I really hate those Mexicans. That's not going to fucking happen. Nobody thinks their kids are ugly. And, I mean ugly, not literally, figuratively.
Yeah.
They're not going to stand for it. And like we were saying earlier, human evolution takes time, even though sometimes it seems like it's not going fast enough. And I think for us to feel like it's not going fast enough is an amazing sign. That means we're fucking ready. We don't even want to deal with, like, someone like, oh, isn't it good I didn't say something right, like some racial slur today? It's not even going to be a second thought. Yeah. It's like, yo, we just want to, like, you see differences, but you see it to celebrate it. And you see it to celebrate it not for the sake of, hey, look at me, I'm celebrating this, just because it's like, it's fucking fun to do that. Everyone's different. It's like, this might seem weird, but like, I'm a Star Trek dork. And it's like, hell yeah.
My people.
So, I mean, I love that, in the 60s, it tricked people right off the bat to being like, you're not a fucking misogynist, you're not a sexist, you're not a racist. Like, look at all these fucking people together. Middle of the Cold War, fucking Russians working with, Americans, right? And it was never like, hey, isn't it crazy that we're working together? It's the future. Like, nope, it's just there. And it was so obvious. It's blatant when we watch back the 60s one now. It wasn't blatant then because people weren't as, people were quick to judge, but they weren't so aware of every little thing being like, that's different, that's different, that's different, when it's fed to them a certain way. And that was the beauty of that show and, the legacy of that show. And it's like, the world is becoming that.
Yeah. So fans that come to your shows, What are they like for you for crowd-wise? Because I've seen you guys a few times, and the crowd just comes together. From your data point up on that stage, what do you see when you're out there?
You know, for me, it varies because I feel like we play different types of shows. You know, even like we play shows not as often anymore, but, you know, outside of metal. The way I go into it, for the 30 minutes we're on stage, that's our crowd. And that's because we're going to do what we do regardless. If we're playing to people who, like, never done a circle pit before, I'll fuck around, I'll joke around, I'll explain what a circle pit is, and now go do that fucking circle pit. A show tonight, it was mostly an older crowd, but, you know, there were some younger kids there, and I know on this tour, the older crowd doesn't like to mosh around, and that's...
We break things in our bodies.
And that's totally cool. But I'm still going to do my best to be like, hey, do you guys want to mosh around? They're like, no. They're like, all right, well, then just fucking hang out, have a good time. If some people say no and some people are like, yeah, I'm like, let's fucking turn this up to 10. So that's what happened today, you know, and that's how I go into it every time. You know, I want to have fun with everybody. I want everybody else to have fun. I know sometimes that people just need a kick in the ass. So I'm never afraid to give people a kick in the ass. If I give them a kick in the ass and they move up and just have a good stand around, if that's all they want to do, awesome, then I'll have fun. If I give them a little bit of kick in the ass and then they're fucking the place up like they did today, you know, we had everybody, you know, smashed into Raven's drums on the side, which, you know, may not be the best for them that happened, but in the heat of the moment, yeah, fucking smash the whole place! Because it's just so much goddamn fun. And, you know, especially, like I said, our lyrics were so serious, and sometimes it gets a little dark in that manner. So because it's all that, when we're up there, let's have a fucking good time. Absolutely. Let's get out of just all the doom and gloom. Like, hey, this song's about this, you know, that bums you out, that bums you out. Now let's fucking go for it. And then, you know, some kid is, you know, up front, he's ready to go. And then we play, and he just wants to run, you know, and fucking run the circle pit and, you know, smash the guy next to him in a fun way. That's just going to make us have more fun. Where it's going to have more energy that way. You know, I want him to leave, or I want her to leave, like, man, that was so much fun. I'm physically exhausted, and then they can go home and listen to the record, and, you know, oh, this record rocks. I can't wait to see them live because it's just that much more. So I see every crowd in the beginning with that potential, and if it's not that rowdy, so long as people are like, hey, fuck, I had a good time, then it's still rad.
So the fans that don't know you guys yet, what do you want them to know about your music? Like, what?
You know, I think I would like for them to know that we don't take, you know, the pedestal lightly. And even if that pedestal is only playing in front of 10 people, you know, I played in bands for years and years and years and had, you know, lyrics about all shit that does and does not matter. But at one point I felt like if I have 20 people standing in front of me paying attention to what I'm doing, I'm not going to just continue talking about, like, this song's about how my friend stabbed me in the back. There's a place for everything. I was a bit over that. So I want people to know that we actually have a message. You know, we have something important to say. We have views. I'm not afraid to back down. I am afraid to back down. I'm not afraid to say what's on my mind, even if that alienates people. You know, that being said, we might not be for everybody. Right. And that might not be the best business choice. I'm not in this for fucking business. I don't make any fucking money doing this. But I think it's important. We do have a message. If you're not into our message, maybe we'll open your mind a bit. Maybe not, and we're not for you. We want to incorporate our message that we think is important, along with having fun and getting a complete energy release. Hopefully, unlike anything that any other band's going to give you. There are other bands that are high energy and they're going to give you that too, but I want it to be different. I want, you know, people like, oh, I love metal. I love, you know, really heavy metal. I love thrash. I like to think we do a little bit of all that. You know, we obviously, you know, we love thrash. We're fast. We're, you know, we have lots of shit that's Slayer ripoff. But I like to think that we have a modern tinge, you know, where we're heavy because we like that shit, you know, and we have what I think is our own individualistic style. You know, a lot of us came from hardcore. You know, you're going to hear that hardcore and that crossover in our sound. You know, you're going to see that in our energy. For my opinion, if you like aggressive metal, come fucking see us. If you pay attention to the world a little more than just, you know, your own little bubble, come see us and you'll be able to meld two things together. If you don't pay attention to things outside of your own little bubble and you're open to it, we're going to tell you what we're about. If you're with it, awesome. If you're not with it, that's for you. You know, some people aren't with it message-wise and are still like the band because of, you know, just the music and the screaming. And that's totally fine too. You know, a big thing that we talk about in the van quite often is a lot of the bands that are the biggest influences to us, the early to mid, I guess 80s and early 90s thrash bands. They're getting old, they're falling off, bands are retiring. I don't mean falling off like losing their touch. I mean, you know, they're not as busy anymore, bands are retiring. I think it's important for people, they have to, if they want this style to last, they need to seek out other bands, because unfortunately those bigger bands are not passing the torch. You know, and I'm not saying passing the torch like a band like Slayer should be like, hey, we're bowing out, you know, we're not doing it anymore, so hey, pay attention to these bands. But that last Slayer tour, it's an amazing lineup. There's no young bands. And to me, it's like they're dropping the ball a bit. I think the youngest band is Behemoth. Behemoth has been around for a long time.
Napalm Death too, probably the
same thing, you know,
yeah.
And Napalm Death's been around since the 80s, you know, and those bands can go out and headline, you know, but there's lots of younger bands. You know, it's crazy because we all know, and I love Megadeth. We all know Dave Mustaine's kind of a psychopath. Megadeth is one of the only bands that is, from my opinion, consistently brought out bands to pass the torch. You know, despite how things all turned out, they took out Havok a bunch and exposed Havok, who is, you know, one of the best bands of our genre, to all these new people, which is amazing. To me, you know, and like I said, I worship all these bands, but Slayer's not doing that. You know, here and there, Testament will bring out some other bands. The quality of the bands they bring out, and that's just my opinion. And I know it's difficult, you know, especially the older bands that want to maintain their draw and they want to, you know, make sure they're making all the money. And I'm not saying any of this in a negative way. You know, we all want to make money, and those bands deserve that money. Anthrax, fucking legends. How many more times can we see Anthrax and Exodus tour together? How many more times can we see Slayer and Exodus, Testament? Those bands, like, we need to bring new blood into that. And I fear that that's not going to happen. And selfishly, a band like us, or even, you know, the other bands that are at the top of the game, like Havok and Power Trip, like, all right, great, those bands can go out and 200, 300 people are coming out, but that's nothing in comparison to a Slayer going out and, you know, having, you know, sometimes 5,000, 6,000 people. You know, that bums me out a little bit. If we could somehow get people into the minds of people, like, there are other bands of this ilk. I think a lot of people like, oh, well, you know, I love Slayer, I love Anthrax, what's new? And it's metalcore. And it's like, oh, there is an in-between. We have, you know, there's bands that have that modern heaviness, and we're going to fuck it up there. But we're also, you know, we're going to riff, we're going to thrash, you know, we're going to bring that thrash energy.
I have to say, one of the best shows I saw this year was you guys with Havok and Suicidal Tendencies in Vancouver. It was thrash-tacular the entire way through, and you get up to Suicidal doing their crazy, insane shit. I haven't seen a crowd respond to a full lineup like that in a long, long time. And I think if people come out, they need to know, like, Slayer's going out, they're doing their thing, they're going to retire. Bands like Extinction AD can definitely step up, and people need to come find you guys.
I would love that, and I would never be as, you know, egotistical to be like, well, if you like Slayer, like, we'll just take Slayer's spot.
But for me, as somebody who's seen you, I could say, and I'm not saying you would necessarily take Slayer's spot, but I would say that fans could come out and completely enjoy your show.
Exactly.
And I've loved Slayer, you know, way back in the 80s. And,
yeah.
like, the first experience I had, and that's how I felt when I saw you guys, like, the experience you get is that same raw feeling I had the first time seeing Slayer, and it says there are bands out there still doing the authentic genre.
Exactly. That and I don't want that to die. You know, I don't want the genre to die. And you know, it is selfish because I'm playing the genre, but I'm playing the genre because I love it and I don't want it to die. You know,
and more people need to do that to keep it from dying, and fans need to come out and support it.
Yeah, I want to make sure metal doesn't get completely usurped by metalcore. It's just that, you know, there's more to just mindless mosh, and I love mosh. And I love breakdowns, but there's got to be more. There's got to be a song.
Yes.
You know, and like I said, I was born in 1980, so you know the first wave thrash and the second wave, and you know I love all of the 80s thrash bands, 90s records. I know there's the division like pre and post Black Album thrash and metal. I love like what the Black Album did to metal. I love, hey, let's take pop song structure and just fucking make it metal. You know, I know obviously all the glam bands did it. I love a lot of glam metal. But
there's so much great music out there anyway. Yeah.
But to do that with thrash, oh, it's the best. I'm such a sucker for pop structure, so long as it's not offensive pop music. You know, I try not to write every song, verse, chorus, you know, guitar solo, bridge, chorus, but a little bit of that and doing what we're doing, like, you know, I love like a powerful 3.5 minute thrash song, and I don't want that to go extinct for, you know, well, here's your fucking super detuned chuggy verse, shitty singing chorus, breakdown, according to me, embarrassing shitty metalcore guitar solo, and then another 5 breakdowns. God, I hate it.
Tell us how you really feel. No.
Yeah, right. So I would really love if people dug a bit and, you know, found out about the modern thrash and the modern heavy metal bands.
Absolutely.
As well as, you know, doing their homework. And I don't ever want, even after Slayer's done, anyone to ever not think Slayer is one of, if not the best bands in the world. You know, I want Anthrax to be packing places out because they fucking should, because they're goddamn Anthrax. You know, I want Megadeth to put out a great record, every record, instead of every other record, like I feel like they do. You know, these bands are important, and while they're still doing their thing, they need to be supported. I really think they should be bringing out younger bands to pass the torch.
And I think that's very fair. There's so much good music out there. And I love the lineup they have, too, because, I mean, these are people I grew up with. But there are people that, you know, could definitely come in there and get that exposure that they're not going to get. And it's truth to say that Slayer gets that exposure that you're not going to get on a lot of tours. And
yeah.
I think it would be fair for a lot of bands to have that opportunity.
And I do need to say, you know, Suicidal taking us out in Canada, oh my God, I could not believe when that worked out.
And you got him with Ben Wyman on the tour, too. That was just like, geez.
That tour was so awesome. And, you know, Suicidal, I said, you know, metal and punk, or, you know, first wave American hardcore, that is my shit. So Suicidal was like the perfect marriage of that. So when it was like, hey, Suicidal's going out with Havok, and, you know, they're looking for another first band, I'm like, dude, yes, we would love to do that. And, you know, we put our name in the hat, and they're like, yeah. I was like, we're going to fucking go on tour with Suicidal Tendencies. I'm working my job at home, getting, you know, the email. It's like, all right, we're doing it. And I'm thinking, man, every day, like 3 more weeks. I just have to get through this 3 more weeks, and we'll be out with Suicidal. 2 more weeks, 1 week. And then it's like, dude, I'm leaving my job this summer to go on tour with legends. And no egos in that band, which, like, not that you should ever assume someone's going to have an ego, but, you know, you never want to. Well, I never want to be let down by a band I love, so sometimes I'll just keep my distance. Nope, those guys were so rad, and I'm so flattered still that they allowed us to do that. Not only that, the crowds. Some of those crowds didn't even know we were playing, let alone who the fuck we are or were or whatever. And we play first, packed, people going nuts. And it wasn't like, oh, we're just going to do whatever. It's kind of like first couple songs, like, oh, I guess this is cool. And, you know, I'll do my thing. Like, hey, let's really fucking get wild. All right. Rest of the set, Suicidal's crowd's going wild for us. You know?
Yeah, I was ducking and covering. People were coming over that first song. I was like, oh, shit, I'm going to die here. So one last question for you. And it comes off of a photo I took while you guys were in Vancouver. Mistakenly did not understand that your drummer doesn't come out, you know, like your recording drummer. You guys have a drummer that comes on tour with you, and you call him Toilet.
Okay,
Where did that come from?
So we essentially have 2 drummers. Our main drummer, Scuzz, he plays for other bands also. And like I said, we want to be super busy. We're not always as busy as we want to be. So sometimes he'll grab a gig, and it conflicts. You know, and if he grabs a gig before we do, he's already committed.
Yeah.
So that's what happened over the summer. So we're like, oh, we need a drummer. So a dude we met years ago when we're passing through New Mexico, he was more so kept in touch with Scuzz. He was a drummer. So Scuzz was like, fuck, I can't do this tour. I'm going to find a drummer. So he reached out to Devin. He's like, oh, I want to do it. Young, 19 years old, never been on tour. Made a couple of videos, essentially did a video tryout. Killed it. We were trying a few different people. So I'm talking to him, you know, keeping him updated on what's going on. So when we decide we're gonna take him, I send him a text. I was like, "Hey man, you ready to go on tour?" Essentially, like, you got the gig. So he responds to me, "I think so. I got all my toiletries together." So I fucking lost it. Even before I responded to him, I screen cap it and I sent it to Tom, our bass player. And he's like, right off the bat, we started referring to him as toiletries. And I was like, no, man, like, you got the gig. We're going to take you on tour. He's like, all right, cool. So as he's about to, you know, he's doing his thing at home. We're doing our thing at home. We're practicing with Scuzz until he goes and on his other gig. And we're just like, oh, you know, when toiletries gets here, we got to do this, that, and the other thing. And then real quick, it just got shortened to toilet. So by the time he gets there, you know, we go to practice. They're like, oh, what's up? I'm like, oh, yo, we've been calling you toilet. He's like, what? And we're like, well, you said you're bringing toiletries on. You know, that was your response to getting the gig. And we thought it was funny. And it got shortened to toilet. And there it is. So there are our two drummers, Scuzz and Toilet.
That's a great story, though, too, because I was like, where the hell did guys start calling him Toilet from?
Yeah. It's such a fucked up nickname. You know, it's funny because I always just say,
everyone on Instagram knows him as Toilet now.
That's just what I always say. The other guys always call him Toy, just T-O-I. But he's a trooper. He's a trooper. You know, this is just his second tour. You know, we're old as fuck, and he's so young, and we, you know, so we're super set in our ways, you know, and he doesn't complain. He does his job and he kicks ass.
Rad. Well, Rick, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I'm sorry I chewed your ear off for a fucking hour and a half.
Now, everyone listening, sure you get out there and catch Raven, Extinction AD, and, you know.
Mobile Deathcamp.
Yeah, Mobile Deathcamp's out there. Todd, you know, that's going to be a great show. It's through the 16th. You guys catch these guys. You guys do a fantastic show, and people need to see what you're doing. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Appreciate it.